Alright folks, so I've been working on the 76, getting some welding done and such, and completely new at welding, like never done it before. So it's been a significant trial and error. I do want to talk about, some tips and tricks from the new guy to the other new folks that may be looking at wanting to do some welding on the side. Definitely not a professional, so don't take anything that I'm about to say as the gospel for you to say that, hey, subject matter expert individual said that I should do this. But I'm going to tell you some tips and tricks that is important. First off, by saying clothing or some form of protection is pretty important when it comes to welding. So I had welding gloves and a welding helmet, something relatively cheap. This auto darkening helmet by Lincoln Electric. It works great. Even though it's got a small window, I'm able to look at what I'm about to weld, and as soon as I start welding, it completely darkens and protects the eyesight. They have these gloves here that work great. They remind me of firefighter gloves. Now, I was a volunteer firefighter for 13 years, and when I put those on, immediately I was like, I know these are going to provide great protection because they feel just like the gloves that I had when I was going inside burning buildings, and never had an issue whatsoever with my hands getting too hot or burning, so forth and so on. I did learn very quickly that bald folks like myself should have some form of protection on their head, because after enough hot sparks that hit my head and went down my back, I knew that it was time to try something different. So I went on the Amazon and found a hood that was made by Arccaptain. Now, of course, I paid for this, so it's not like they gave this to me for free to review. But the hood, it's an extra large because I got a fat head. Literally, it just fits right over and provides protection. Now, it also has this little face piece there if you want to, try to filter out some dust and such, or keep your face warm if it's cold. But this hood, of course, reminded me of my hood when I was a firefighter. I wish I'd have kept my hood, because then I'd have not had to go buy one, and I'd have had a flame-resistant hood to wear when I am working with the welder. Another thing I invested some money in, of course it was by Arccaptain as well, is this flame-resistant welding jacket. Now, the reason why I got this was because when I started, I put the long gloves on and I just wore whatever short sleeve shirt I had, and later that night I realized that I had what looked like sunburn, and kind of was sunburned. But I wasn't outside any at all. And then I realized that there's a lot of intense heat and light that comes off of the welder, and I knew that that kind of was like a sunburn, but it was because I didn't have anything covering my arms or protecting it. So I got this jacket, and this one's a 2X. I normally wear extra large. I wanted something that I was going to have enough room in, because my biggest issue with trying to find things that fit is that I have broad shoulders, so anything that fits around the midline is not going to fit around the chest and the shoulders, and if I do this too much, I'm going to be like Chris Farley in Tommy Boy, fat guy in a little coat, and I'm going to rip everything up my back. So I went up a size and it fits great. Again, this one's from Arccaptain. I've done some welding already and it does its job. I'm not getting burned up by the sparks, and I am not getting sunburnt either. So it's worked out great. Now I do have a little metal cart that I got where I'm keeping my Century flux core welder. It's a FC90. It was the cheapest thing that I could buy at that time, and it has so far worked out pretty good. Again, I've never welded anything in my life, but I'm using the 030 and welder, and so far it's doing its job. Now this welding cart was one that Harbor Freight had on sale for $49.99. It is just a 3-tier metal cart from US General. I bought it for the purpose of having my welding stuff on it. So wire, extra wire. I've got 2 grinders, one with a cutoff wheel, one with a grinder, one corded, and of course one with a interchangeable battery, a cordless. The grinder is corded because I do a whole lot more grinding than I do cutting. And that's one thing that I've learned is if you can't weld very well, be a good grinder. And unfortunately, I'm neither. And I'll kind of show you on the truck bed of some of the stuff that I've done. Now, remember, beginner, first time ever doing anything welding. It's going to take a while before I'll ever say, hey, if you need some body work, friends, family, whoever, come on down and I'll hook you up and it's going to look professional. It ain't going to look the first bit professional, because I'm just some backyard guy trying to restore my granddaddy's old truck and work on this 84. I got a 79 C30 out there that I'm going to do some body work on too. And my grandpa's truck, the 76 I got over here, there's some sentimental value there. But the 84 I bought from a local firefighter down the road. I'm going to get it fixed up, and it's just going to be, you know, a beat around vehicle. The C30, it's got a dump bed on it. Once I get the dump bed working, I may try to turn a profit off of it. It was a Copar fine, so it didn't cost me a whole lot. But again, this cart has got 3 levels, and it works out great for what I needed. It's got all of my welding stuff on it, and I feel like if I, you know, were to go MIG or TIG or something like that I could maybe add some accessories to it where it will be the ultimate welding cart, or I may just get one that was made for it. I like, you know, modifying stuff and adding some things to make a little flair, make it better, so to say. But yeah, so that is that's the setup that I got. Like I said, the Arccaptain jacket and the hood has provided great protection. The Century welder I got here works out great. I did see, you know, Arccaptain's got some actual welders that are out there, but right now I just went with what I could get that was incredibly cheap. They got some good quality personal protection, so I'd assume that their plasma cutters and welders are probably some good quality stuff too. So let's take a look at some of the welding that I've done so far and grinding. I did start by filling in a bunch of holes here on the truck bed, and of course I went in and used the old Rust-Oleum truck bed liner to completely cover the inside and the top here, so you won't be able to see the initial welding. But here I started to weld a bunch of holes. Now right here was a smaller hole, there was another smaller hole. I got it Down here there was a ton of holes, not like this ginormous hole. Of course I got it ready to be cut out, and I'm going to take some older C10 body parts and weld that in. But you know, it's a little rough around the edges there. Probably got some more grinding to do and some hammering to get it right. Of course it's a little wonky because of that big old whammo right there that was completely filled in with Bondo. That was interesting. I do have everything down to bare metal, and I use the Eastwood fast etch, I believe, to go over all of the exposed metal to prevent any rust from reforming. I'm going to cut this out and fill it in. These were just some small holes that I went in and started welding up. Haven't ground them down or got them cleaned up yet. Same thing down here. This was very similar to what I was doing on the other side. Just lots of holes that were bigger than pinholes, and I wanted to get them filled in. Trying to prevent, you know, cutting all of this out and replacing it. It'd be a whole lot more work, and what I have learned so far is that welding is very time consuming. So definitely don't think you're going to jump into a project and have it taken care of quickly. In the welding alone, I probably have, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours already between patching up the stuff on top of the truck bed. There was a couple holes in the bed itself that I patched up, and just this passenger side of the body filling in holes. So about 4 to 5 hours worth of work. I've already went through a whole spool of wire. I believe I used a 035 in the beginning and used the 030. I got one more spool of 035 to use, and after that I think the 030 is what I'm going to stick with this flux core welder. Just the smaller wire seems to work better with this 76 truck bed body. So that's where I'm at. Highly recommend the Arccaptain jacket and hood. It does its job. I'm no longer getting the hot sparks on the head. And if you want to get a cheap welding cart, go grab one from Harbor Freight and make it work for you. Or just find a cheap cart somewhere and make it work. I mean, it ain't got to be brand new. I just got it because it was on sale, and it's red. It matches the welder. Don't have a very specific favorite color, although fire engine red was always a color that I enjoyed, just for my, you know, long stint that I was a volunteer firefighter. But those days are gone. Hung up the helmet and doing some different stuff. But anyway, you'll see some more work coming. I'll get in and actually do some videos of me welding, and I'm sure folks that's been doing this for a long time is going to have a heyday out there with me. I'm probably doing it wrong, but if I'm doing it wrong, tell me that I'm doing it wrong, because heck, I'm learning. I'm watching videos, I'm getting out here, I'm practicing directly on what I'm working on. I haven't used any scrap metal or anything like that, because I expect some imperfections with this vehicle, and knowing that it was a family vehicle and I'm putting in the work and I'm doing the restoration, there'll be imperfections there that'll be handed down, just as I've got imperfections such as a dent full of Bondo. But to me, that's what makes it perfect. So we'll see how it plays out. All right. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the quick video. Like I said, if you saw some things that you might want to go out and get for yourself, go ahead. If you're brand new or thinking about getting into welding, go ahead and wear your protection. I saw many people say that on videos, and of course I have to learn the hard way, and I'm really fair-skinned, so my first go at welding with short sleeves ended up in lots of hot sparks to the arm and some sunburn that I found out was there when I took a hot shower. But that's it. Like, subscribe, or dislike if you feel like you need to, but hang around for more content. Appreciate y'all coming out and taking a look at what I got going on. Remember, I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy learning how to do things, teaching the kids how to do it, and they're learning just as I'm learning. So it's fun. It's a little hobby. Take care.